Hi everyone, welcome to Outlier TV. You're either watching or listening, and I am your host, Georgie Speakman, and this evening we have the most stuff. I mean, look at you. I can't even cope. Already not coping. Beautiful Vincint Kennedy.
Yes.
Just in Vincent. The studio. Huh?
Just Vincent.
Okay, Vincent. Just Vincent. He's the only person on planet Earth that does not have a last name.
It's just that, lucky.
Honey, I could not be any more excited to have you, in here tonight. I have been very much looking forward to our dialogue. And look at this face. I don't know if anyone's just sort of noticed the face, but it's absolutely breathtaking, and the eyes and eyelashes.
I love compliments. Please keep them coming. I'm very adapt to them. Thank you so much.
He's naked tonight. Well, at least we're going to get him naked.
I'm just wearing this. I believe in showing all. Thank you for having me.
No, of course. Thank you for being here. So I happened to be with the Lululemon team the other week.
Yeah.
For the Love Loud event.
Of course.
And you were just phenomenally breathtaking.
Thank you.
This was an event in celebration of a few different things. Of course, Pride and the label and everything they're doing.
Of course.
And that's probably the most up close and personal, except for now and today, that I've been with you.
Yeah.
And it's getting hotter in here. No.
I brought it with me.
You're mind-blowing.
Thank you.
I do liken you to a male Beyonce.
I'm never going to not take that as a compliment, so please keep saying that for the rest of the interview.
And I'm the other female Beyonce,
That's
just
all
a white
want.
version,
You're welcome.
So tell me how that opportunity came about for you.
So Lululemon reached out to my team, and they had this idea of putting together a Pride tour and partnering with Love Loud, which is the organization started by Dan Reynolds, and Lance is also a big part of that. And they presented the idea to me of doing a couple cities, just a couple stops in a couple cities, and doing just a Pride show to kick off all the prides in those cities and to bring awareness. And it's also, they're partnering with HBO for Dan Reynolds' documentary Believer, which talks about the suicide rate in Utah and the Mormon system there and everything that goes down in that part of our country. And I had to be part of it. It just made sense.
I'm so happy that you were. I and one of the other girls from Lululemon we had tears streaming down our face.
Oh my God, no crying.
Yeah, throughout the performances, because this one, if you're not already familiar, has featured on The Four and has released tracks like Marrow and others, and is an outstanding performer. And you heard us mention Beyonce, so if you can just imagine. But being that close, I mean, I've been living in LA for 5.5 years. I'm obviously not from here. And I said to the girls, I mean, this was the most moving event and the most rewarding, LA event that I have ever been to.
Thank you.
No, of course. And I just adored the way that you integrated your friends.
Yeah, I mean, I try to do that at some shows if I do have friends in the audience.
Wait, explain what happened.
So at the show, there's a part of my set where I step off stage and I kind of invite the crowd to come up and, like, if you do sing, if you don't sing, I invite you to just have that moment on the mic and just get free is what we call it. And you can just like let loose and just have fun in that moment and have that feeling of having everyone watch you and just kind of like rooting you on and being just supportive of you in that moment.
The whole experience, I mean, look, I'm getting chills. Look at that. So the whole experience of that, let alone the actual voices alone, was just breathtaking. I haven't seen anyone do that in such an intimate environment before. I think everyone was peeing their pants.
There were a lot of good singers that night. A bunch of like really good friends were there, and I was like, oh, tight.
Okay, so considering you're the male Beyonce, how the F do you sing and dance like that at the same time?
Just training. My dad started training me when I was little. I've been singing since I was 5. And it just comes naturally, I guess, because I've just been working so hard at it. It's just working out and singing at the same time. It's kind of like building up that stamina.
Well, you certainly have it. So you've got the skills to go the distance for sure. Are you originally from LA?
No, I'm from Philadelphia.
So you're a Philly boy. Tell us about your upbringing. How did you find your voice, literally?
So my dad's a singer. He sings in a gospel group called the Christ Anointed Gospel Singers, and that was that was my first introduction to music and to singing as a whole, and hearing different harmonies around my house all the time.
Beautiful.
Kind of like got me into it. But I was always so shy when I was little. I was not the person to be in front of anyone. And my dad was like, you should go out for this choir that came. It was a boy choir in Philadelphia, the Keystone State Boy Choir. And I went out for an audition, and I had to audition with a solo song, and I sang the song, and everyone in the room got quiet. And it was in that moment that I was like, oh, if I can do that, I want to do that forever. Like if I can make everyone stop what they're doing and pay attention and like feel something, then I'm in.
And were you resonating with the lyrics and the meaning behind everything
for sure.
at the time?
Yeah, it was just like, it was a song that I loved to sing. It was Joyful, Joyful from Sister Act. And I was like,
you're going to get me singing it, but then you're going to take over because I can't sing like you can.
Confidence is all you need. You know? You don't need the notes. You just have to be confident in the moment. That's all I say. Listen.
That is, you know I'm going to get you to sing that at some point. You know that. I'm talking like as in this evening because that's one of the most beautiful, beautiful songs on, you know.
It's so good, and the way she sings it is, there's no one better than Lauryn Hill. Just like accept that.
Except for Vincint, everybody. Okay, so you found would you call that gospel singing, choir singing?
Yeah, for me, I didn't go to much church when I was younger. I went to Catholic school, so that was my introduction into religion. And it wasn't really my thing. I am a believer, yes, but music is universal, so I really didn't like categorize myself as one kind of singer. I like to listen to everything. Like I know how to sing in Portuguese, I know how to sing in Russian, I know how to sing in French. So I wanted to learn these different things because it seemed lazy if I only learned it one way, in one genre. I don't like being like boxed into something.
I didn't expect to hear that. So the man speaks several languages, clearly.
I don't speak it. I can sing it, but I don't speak it.
How did you come about to sing these multiple languages?
With this choir, it's funny because I've been to every continent before I was 16.
Wow.
With this choir. We travel all around the world.
Incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, of course. Hello. Yeah.
And so I learned all these different songs in these different languages, and it just like opened my mind up to so many things. And I was like, wow, this is like the world. Like being shown the world that young opened my eyes up to the things that I could do in it. And so I think it really molded me into the artist that I am today.
Of course. I'm going to ask you, I'm going to dive straight into a really, whether you call it a controversial question or not.
Go for it.
Did you always know that you were gay?
Of course.
Okay, so how did that journey come about in terms of revealing to family and friends?
Okay.
Was it always present? You tell me.
The way that I saw my sexuality is my family is very, very open and open-minded, I would say. Yes, they are. My dad is Baptist and my mom is also Christian, but it's one of those things where I was young and I knew who I was, so I always liked boys. There was never a conversation where my dad was like, these are the birds and the bees, and you like bees, and you're a bird, and here we go. It wasn't like, I just wasn't here for that. I wasn't that kind of kid. Yes, I was quiet, but I knew who I was, and I knew what I wanted to do. So no one was going to convince me otherwise. So when the conversation did eventually come up, it was more so along the lines of, do you like boys? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, why? And my question to them at 10 was, why do you like girls?
Amazing. So at 10, you were like reflecting back.
This is me talking to my dad. And I'm like, why do you like my mom? He's like, I love her. And I was like, great, same. And then that for me, I was like,
wow.
That's the end of it. Because that's the way it should be. And as a kid, kids understand that. It's like, okay, no, I like this because I like it. And you can't give me a reason as to why it's wrong other than you believe it's wrong. And that's just something you need to deal with. Because I don't believe it's wrong.
Yeah. I have a lot of different human beings and individuals in my life, and I have a lot of gay friends, and they have all a very different journey, different experience.
Yeah.
Tough, not tough, came later in life, still struggling with the concept of sharing with family, still, whatever the situation is. But for a 10-year-old to speak so organically from the heart like that, I mean, I feel like you've carried that strength and confidence through with you to now and today on the stage.
Yeah, I get that from my mom. My mom she is the catapult person who instilled in me that you need to be an individual. You need to think for yourself. So I'm not going to tell you what to think or what to feel or what you should believe. I'm going to let you figure it out.
That's incredible.
And so it really helped me understand exactly who I wanted to be and what I needed to do for my life in order for me to be happy.
It's with religion, and I grew up in the Christian church as well, and I stopped going when I was probably 12 because I was like, I'm too cool for this. But, it's rooted in you should be this way, you should be that way, this is wrong and right, all that kind of stuff. You never, with your parents being, coming from that background, they never challenged you in that way. That's incredible. That's unusual.
There were challenges along the way, but like I said, I'm sometimes call myself overly confident because if I have my mind set on something.
If I was you know what I mean? Too.
But it's like if I'm convinced of something and I'm not hurting anyone and it makes me happy, then that's it. There's no conversation that needs to be had because I make the rules for my life.
Yeah.
And if it makes me happy and I get to make other people happy by doing that, then that's all I care about.
What was the journey like through school? Like with your talent coupled with your personal journey, how was that received, and how did you show up to your peers?
School was tough. I went to Catholic school until college. Middle school was unique. I found my footing there, and I found how to speak for myself. And when I couldn't sing, I had to learn how to talk for myself and stand up for myself. And as my friend can tell you, I am rarely outspoken. I had to learn how to defend myself, because being a black boy in Northern Philadelphia and knowing who you are and not taking any bullshit for that is not easy. And people will try to tear you down, because that is a fear people have. Seeing someone be so uniquely themselves and such an individual, and because they don't know how to find that for themselves, they want to tear down what they don't understand. And so I had to realize how to be that, but also how to try not to offend others, but more so educate others as to how I'm living my life, so maybe you can live your life that way. And then I went to high school, which was an all-boys Catholic high school, and that was a treat. Really enjoyed that. It's my favorite time of my life.
I'd love to go back, everybody.
It was a great time. I've been asked back to sing at the reunion. I tell them no every time.
That's a capital N-O.
Literally every time. I will not be coming back. Please stop asking me.
Ever.
That was a tough 4 years for me, but I think those 4 years made me the strongest person it made me the strongest I'd ever been in my entire life, because I had to really, really stand my ground against kids who are taught, like, these are kids from all over Philadelphia, and they are Roman Catholic, and they are Bible swearing, like, this is the law, and this is how it goes. And most of them are Republican. I'm not saying Republicans are bad. I'm just saying you really tried me in high school. But
Vincint is very pro-Trump.
I am. But it taught me to really, really just not take anything, like not take any kind of disrespect in my life.
Good for you.
Yeah.
There's a song, Logic won a Grammy for 1-800 blah blah blah. There are certain songs that have really been able to finally speak to certain struggles a lot of kids have, with mental health, mental illness, and other issues. Were there any particular artists? Have there been particular artists and or songs that have inspired and informed your journey as the individual human being that you are today? For sure. I'm a big Stevie Wonder fan. I'm a big Whitney Houston fan. I'm a big Beyonce fan. I also love singer-songwriters. Stevie Wonder is a singer-songwriter, but I'm a big Regina Spektor fan and Ingrid Michaelson. And I like mostly women artists, which probably won't go well with other male artists, but you'll deal. I look at women as being, if you look throughout the whole of history, men have done everything bad, and they are always at the forefront of it. There is never a thing where you're like, oh, a woman did this. It's like, no, it was men being trash. And so I look to women to find, but you know what I mean? It's like, I look to women to kind of guide my mind and guide my artistry and guide where I think, because you always seem to be on the right side of history. So I'm like, okay, maybe you're doing something right. maybe someone else should listen. So I try to give it that kind of, I try to do it that way. So Celine Dion and Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey and these women who write about things like injustice and feminism. And it's just, women have been the biggest icons in my life. Beautiful. Yeah. When I was listening to you, I've seen you, I have to admit, and I'm not the only one, obviously, but when I first saw your performance on the 4, particularly when you sung Creep, I had, tears streaming. I listened to it a number of different times, like over and over in the same day, and then since. And then I saw you at the Love Loud event. You sang, there's so many different artists, right, out there today. There's not everyone. There's a lot of people that have significant amounts of talent. But the way you write, because you're a singer-songwriter, you write all your own stuff, and you've just released Marrow this year. And you've got Remember Me. And then you've got Remember Me. I was about to say you've got Remember Me as well. Yeah. What's your creative process in accessing the depths of your being? Because you come from such a real, raw, organic, and meaningful place that informs change, Yeah. I try when I'm writing, just to be honest, I don't use metaphors. I don't
sugarcoat things. I don't try to dress it up as something that it's not, because you can't understand that. People don't connect to that. When I wrote Remember Me, it's literally verbatim what happened in the night. It's like I'm standing under a disco ball and I'm crying because you broke my heart, and I don't know how to love anymore because I think you left with my love.
Wow.
And
which we can all relate to.
it's a heartbreaking feeling, but I think if you do anything from an honest place, someone will connect with that. And the way that works is if you connect with one person, they'll share it. And it keeps going. And I think that's what happened with Creep on the 4 as well. I sang that song because I was getting messages from a lot of kids around America and around the world being like, I feel left out because no one understands me. And I have never fit in, either because I'm gay, or I'm too dark, or I am not pretty enough, or I am not of the right weight size that I think I should be. And people judge me for that. And it's like, no, that's not true. That's not how the world works. Like, you are great just how you are. And if you are a little creepy and if you are a little weird, that's fine. You are the unique one that don't fit into something else. So it all comes from a place of just genuinely knowing exactly what you want to say and saying it in a way that everyone can understand.
Sure. I think it came out, if I recall, like 1990, 91, the original song. I don't know if it was the original. And I loved the song when I would have been, show my age, don't reveal that.
You would have been 21.
No, 20, wait, that doesn't make sense.
You're going to go with it.
It's the wrong age. That's
the wrong age.
21 then.
Math, I can sing really well, but math is not my strong point. Carry on.
I was 1. So I really resonated with the song then. And then, I haven't seen anyone perform it like you did. On the subject of the 4, what was that journey really, really like? Because obviously the show and everything's presented in such a way to engage the mass audience, right?
Yeah.
And present the journey with conflicts or struggles, whatever, between the different contestants and so on. What was the whole experience really like for you, and how did it make you grow as an artist?
Definitely. So they reached out a couple times and I said no twice.
Why?
Because I was very much against reality TV shows. I had just auditioned for American Idol. I got on the show and chose not to do it.
Yes.
Because I don't like the idea of competing with a talent that that's God given. It seems like
beautiful.
You know what I mean? It's like it's too much. It's like, okay, there's room for everyone. There's like enough. But I then spoke with my manager. I spoke with Kyle, and I said, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this as myself. I'm not gonna get on there and I'm not gonna act a fool. I'm not gonna give you ratings. I'm not gonna be like, this isn't Love and Hip Hop. I'm gonna get on TV, and I'm going to give someone something they can see where it's not your average gay character who gets on television or gay person and they're made fun of. And they're like the butt of the joke because they can't sing or they're dressed weird or it's just, how in every one of those shows, it's like the gay character comes on and there's oopy loopy music and they're being made fun of. It's because they're strange and not your normal kind of person. And I told him, I'm going to go as myself. I'm going to keep my hair the way it is. I'm going to be just as feminine as I want to be.
And you were able to keep your hair the way you wanted to.
I told them when I walked in the door, I said, if I'm going to do this, nothing is changing. And they were fine with that. And that's kind of what ushered me into wanting to do it, is because they were so open to the idea of me just being myself. And the show was crazy. It is a whirlwind of emotions and just stress.
It feels high pressure.
It is very high pressure with the judges, with just everything, the contestants, the challenges that come. It was a lot, but I got lucky and I got on the right time right before the finale, and I got to sail into the finale, and it was just
I mean, praise the Lord for you on the 4. I mean, it was other level. When you get the feedback from the judges, how does that make you feel? Because I found you to be observing your reactions. You were really strong, very pragmatic, very professional about it all. It was almost like you'd been there, done it before.
Yeah.
And you were reliving an experience, but as a more informed human.
Yeah.
What was that like? Was there a moment that you were hurt? You felt more inspired?
Definitely, I didn't feel hurt. The reaction from the judges for me, when I get criticism about something that I work very hard at, I try to listen to it, and I also try to take note if the person giving the instructions to me is knowledgeable enough to give me that. Because I've gone to school for this. I'm in debt for this because I want to be good at it. You know what I mean? So I took it all in, and I know I'm good at what I do. And that's not a cocky thing, because I work at it every day.
It's not cocky.
You know
it's
what I
your
mean?
God-given right and gift.
You know, it's like I'm good because I practice my ass off.
Sure.
And there's not a day where I'm not like, I want to be better at what I do. Like I don't ever want to be at the top of my game. That's strange to me. I want to keep going because I feel like you should keep growing as an artist. It's nice to get that feedback, and it's nice to have those people say those things to you, and it's nice to be on a platform where people can see and hear your heart. But it definitely inspired me to want to do more. There is an earthquake happening.
They're having sex upstairs.
Thank
Is
you.
this what they do through our interviews, you know? So coming off a show like that, off a platform that's so successful and widely watched, is it a come down or does it continue up when you come off the show?
There hasn't been a day where I haven't been working. It's been a continual just ride. I think it's also because I went into it with a knowledge that this is a great platform, but you have to use the platform now. And once you're off of it, it doesn't stop. You have to keep going.
Yes.
And so we set up a plan, like on the day of the finale, I released my music video. And the next day I released another song. And it's like, it's a constant thing. And it's putting my face out there and putting my music out there and putting my name. It's been amazing. It hasn't been a come down yet. The fans are incredible. Just like the messages I get and the support I get. I've done 3 shows here in LA since the show at the Troubadour, the Peppermint, and they've all been sold out.
Honey, every time I talk, I'm getting chills. It's like head to
It's
toe.
crazy, right? It's nuts.
No, just not what you're telling me, just by being in your energy and presence, because he's just this, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so then what are your plans for the rest of the year in terms of album and song release?
My plans for the rest of the year, right now I'm on the Little Lemon tour, and the next stop is Provincetown, and then I go to Utah for the Love Loud Festival, the big show with Imagine Dragons and Zed.
Fantastic.
That's going to be awesome. I'm releasing a new single in July.
Brilliant.
It's going to be tight, and then I'm releasing an EP in September.
Excellent. Well, we can't wait for all of that. What I would love to understand, look at your face. I can't cope. Every time I look into his eyes, I'm like, I'm in love. Is that possible for a straight woman to be in love?
You can be in love with anyone you want to be. That's how it works.
Well, Vincent.
Oh man, this is my first time.
No.
I'm excited. You know?
I'm in love with you.
I mean, like, thank you so much. I think I'm in love with you too, and here we are. I love first experiences. I love flustered. If I could blush, I would be blushing. But I'm very melanin gifted, and you cannot see it.
Blushing from the inside.
Yes.
So it is Pride Month, as we're well aware.
Yes.
Did you celebrate? Have you been celebrating?
I went out for Pride. It was nuts. A bunch of friends of mine performed this year. My friend Jesse St. John did a set at Pride. Superfruit, Kim Petras, my friend Leland. It was just the best. Just seeing everyone together and so happy, and there's no animosity and no hate. It's just this big, fun festival of love and light, and that's, I think, what Pride and Pride Month is all about. Like seeing New York have their Pride and San Francisco have their Pride, and seeing everyone just get together, loving on each other and being accepting of each other, and it's a great time. I wish Pride was all year long. It is all year long, but
of course it's all year long. It's now a fundamental part of our life.
Of course.
The Pride, everything. How long have you been in LA for?
I've been in LA for 3.5 years.
Okay, so you're still a baby.
Yeah.
To LA, but you've been here long enough to get, the whole LA thing.
Of course.
Have you been to LA prior to 3 years to celebrate Pride?
This is my second year. I didn't go my first year.
Okay.
I was working.
You're working, good boy. So have you seen, and it's only been a couple of years, but the Pride sort of energy, festival sentiment, anything evolve? And if so, in what capacity?
For sure. After last year, because there was that threat of the guns, and it was like a whole thing. Seeing everyone being so strong this year, and seeing also just the support of the children from the shooting, from Parkland, and just everyone marching in the parade, being so just outspoken.
I think the good thing about life in today's society, humanity, and culture is that more and more issues and that people are speaking out and up about are merging and coming together.
Yeah.
Have you seen that and experienced that in I guess this year and with Pride this year?
Of course, there's so many people coming together for so many different things, and I think it's so important that people of different ethnic groups join forces in this day and age, because it's so needed to see us all being unified for one thing. Like, our president is trash.
Special.
Just
really,
one of
really special.
Just a person. He's a person. And it's so invigorating for me to see young people just like being so proactive in politics.
Absolutely.
and just in every kind of way, stepping up and stepping out and saying, this is wrong and we shouldn't stand for this because this is going to be our world soon and you're ruining it. You're not helping it. But we have the power to take that back now. And I think it's so great that they're understanding that they're us. I just think it's great that it's a movement now and people are really understanding that they have a voice. And if we stand together, there's not much we can't do.
Right. You are already obviously our voice, like figuratively and like just in the way that you showed up to your performance in sharing the crowd and engaging the crowd. What do you hope to continue to like integrate into your music and stand for as you evolve your career?
Definitely I want to integrate a lot of more political things. It's never really smiled upon when people integrate that in music. It's either taken one way or the other. But I think it's very important for artists because we sway the culture. We are the voice that people listen to when they're not listening to the news. It's music.
Absolutely.
You know? And I think it's my responsibility, as Nina Simone says, it's your responsibility to take on the things that are hurting your world and try to change them. You are the voice to speak to these people because they listen to you the most.
Absolutely.
And I want to take on gay rights, and I want to take on racism in the gay community, and I want to take on just the hate that goes on in literally every part of our country against people of color, against minorities, against the immigrants in our country right now. Because if you all remember, we're all immigrants.
I'm an immigrant.
Literally the entire country is stolen, but we're not going to get into that. But I want to talk about those things and I want people to be aware of them, but I also want to do it in a way where it's music that moves them and it's music that's memorable and timeless. And I think that's the kind of artist I strive to be every day, to have songs that educate you, move you, and you can remember and you want to teach to people down the line. That's
Absolutely.
my whole
Awesome.
zhuzh.
What advice would you give to someone like me who is a black gay man in a white woman's body?
I was like, girl, you better be mixed. What? And advice in what sense? Help me understand.
No, we'll just move on from that question. It's a little bit too complex to answer. I don't want to put Vincent on the spot or anything.
No, I can find an answer.
In terms of artists, Beyonce aside, what are some other artists that you have really embraced that you feel show up in culture and society to share the love and change, move the needle on society and humanity in the way that we're thinking and operating?
Big into Janelle Monáe right now. She's speaking on a lot of different things. Her album was just insane and just spoke on so
really
many
beautiful.
different, just great.
Very special.
It's sad because a lot of people in pop aren't doing that right now, and I wish they were. Just talking about things that didn't involve their private relationships. And I'm like, there's a lot, and people are looking to us to kind of take on the reins for that.
What other genres, though, because you're obviously a pop artist, what other genres do you absorb? Like, what about the Kendricks in hip-hop?
Kendrick, of course.
I mean, he's pop. I mean, he's pop.
Yeah. I mean,
all
it's
genres
just
have gone
popular.
mainstream. Yeah. So to Beyonce, what did you think about her new album?
With Jay-Z?
Yeah.
I am excited about it. It's good to see them be very much in the public with their relationship and also talk about the things that affect our culture every day. Talking about Meek Mill being free, talking about the infidelity in their relationship and how they got through that. It's so important, I think, for black couples to talk about how they can save their relationships
like
because
us.
It's not a thing. Like us. Do you understand? Interracial love. Do you get it? You understand? She's mixed.
In every way.
In every way. I just think it's important that be in the forefront. I think the album obviously is amazing. They are both geniuses, and shooting in the Louvre is like, who can do it? I can't even think about the bill, girl. I would never. Just the bill of it all. To ask the gall. She said, I'm gonna shoot in the Louvre in front of Mona Lisa. You're gonna take the picture.
I know.
And you're gonna like it.
It was pretty wild. A lot of symbolism in that whole video clip.
So much.
I'm not going to sit here and start trying to analyze that. What have been some of the biggest adversities that you have faced? And we've touched on a couple of things, but that have really challenged you. You're a strong human being. You've been able to show up to yourself in your life and the communities that you surround yourself with, that surround themselves with you.
Yeah.
How have you and what have they been, and how have you overcome them?
Some of the biggest things that I've had to get through music-wise in the industry, even in the gay community, is being black, being gay, being a little bit too feminine, not being big enough. There are so many things that
in some areas, honey.
Believe what she just said. Do you hear what she said? Okay. but these are things that are thrown at me every day. It's either there's too much femininity in what you say and how you speak, or you're too black for a white audience, and maybe middle America will understand a weird gay black artist with gray hair, and maybe our gay community doesn't need. We want a Nick Jonas, or we want a Troye Sivan, and it's like, girl, we're all doing the same thing. We're making music, and we want to be loved and accepted by the community that has been literally kicked out of every other place. We should be bonding together, but that's not what's happening right now, and we are getting closer to that, and a lot of us artists are doing that, and we're trying to make that a thing. And I'm very proud to be a part of that movement as well. But
Absolutely.
We have a long way to go.
It's a great time for you to be in
life.
It
is the greatest time.
It is.
Yeah.
You were born in the right era.
Yeah.
So how do you overcome those emotions? You know, in those times where you're attacked, intimidated, bothered by whatever the hell it is.
Yeah.
Whether it's in all the subjects you just mentioned, being black, being gay, being this, being that. How do you overcome? Like, how do you deal? What's your advice to those that perhaps experience similar situations?
My advice to people who go through these things that I go through, and I'm sure there are hundreds and thousands who go through it on a daily basis, being told who you are or what you have to offer is not good enough. I'm a big believer. Can we curse?
Absolutely.
I'm a big believer in telling people to fuck off. I have done it in meetings.
Yeah, that everybody. You.
Because it's there are too many people in the world for you to be affected by one person's no. There are so many people who will love what you do. If there are 5 who don't like what you do, that's great. They'll live. Move on. You don't need them. I don't care. And I think that's what makes me so confident. Is like, I genuinely don't care. If you don't have love to offer, or words of encouragement, or words of like healing and peace to bring into my life, then you don't need to be in my life. I've walked out of deals. I've walked out of meetings because of this. If the vibe in the room is not accepting of my gayness, my blackness, my femininity, I don't need to be there. You don't want me. You want something else. And if you're ever in a situation like that, leave. There is always another opportunity. And I promise you, it's probably going to be 100 times better than what you were in. Every time.
Good man. You hear that, people? So keep on powering on, right?
Yeah. Get out.
So in such a social digital age, right? It's frustrating because we don't always necessarily want to be on it and in it, but it is what the world is today, right?
Yeah.
And you mentioned you don't necessarily engage in negative energy. What about the haters or trolls, or for someone like yourself that's got such a large following of well over 100,000 followers, right?
Yeah.
How do you bother responding to all types of followers and people engaging with your channel?
I try to respond as much as I can, even if the bad comments pop up. Like, they'll be like, bro, are you gay? Girl, yes. That's the comment. Like with the nail emoji. Or like, it'll be like, this dude's a fag. I'm like, girl, tell me something I don't know. Like, these are things like, because you pointing out the obvious to me makes you look foolish. And you saying bad things means you're a fan. Girl, you came to this page, you gave me a like, you gave me a view, you're on my page. You're doing nothing but building me up. So once people understand that, you're like, oh, maybe you should stop. You're not helping anyone but me. Like, girl, I'm here for
like,
it.
if you're giving hate to anyone,
you're a fan.
Don't you understand that it's just a reflection of the fact that,
Yeah. You're a fan.
Yeah.
You are literally coming to my page to say something bad.
Or at least there's
You're a fan,
something from you that they're learning from, that they want, that they admire, that they respect. Even if they come at you with hate, it's almost just love in reverse.
It's like, okay, great. Let me try to educate you. And if that doesn't work, I'm just going to brush you off and keep walking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Who are some of the people in the industry that you admire, again, Beyonce's side, respect the most, I guess, in media and social digital backlash and all that kind of stuff? Like, I see Cardi B, for example, in music. She responds, like, she calls out her haters and she responds and she spends time. And I've looked at her feed and the way she, you know when you're on someone's page and you can see a comment from them and they've clearly responded to a negative comment. Who are some of the people that you respect and admire, if any?
I love Cardi because she is so herself in every way. It is so refreshing to see someone be like, yeah, I'm at the top of the charts, but y'all thought that I was gonna change, but this is who I was before I got here, and that's what you gonna get now. And so she's a girl from the Bronx, and she's like, what you're not gonna do is disrespect me. You're gonna get these hands, or if I can't get to you, you're gonna get these words. And that to me is like, okay, great. That's how she handles that. I also am a big fan of Kalani because she tries to be as loving as possible, but there are always haters and there are always people that come to her page and say awful things, and she responds with love. she'll shut them down, but it's never with a harsh tone. It's always with love, and it's always with something to educate them in the end.
Very important. Very, very important.
Yeah.
You know, Cardi cracks me up and she's like, my teeth are fucked up.
Yeah,
And
but
I'm
like-
like, you know how much it fucking cost me to get these fucking pegs fixed?
Exactly. And she's like,
just-
I'm
she
rich
just
though.
gets on-
Like, I'm rich now, and you're still mad at me. Like, you're still in your apartment in the Bronx, but you're mad at me. You're crazy. You're nuts.
Oh, I love it. Are there artists out there that you wish to, I mean, I keep saying Beyonce's side.
I get it. She's always on the mind. I understand. I fully get it.
That you wish to collaborate in industry.
Of course. I'm a big Ariana fan. I
My God.
love her.
God,
right?
no, I'm just not her. I'm just visualizing the two of you together.
I'm a big Ariana fan. I love her. Obviously Beyonce. I'm a big Jessie J fan as well.
Yeah.
I would love to do a collab with a rapper. I have been wanting to. I've been writing a bunch, and Lizzo is a big inspiration to me. She is so great and so cool. Haim is great as well. My friend Betty Who is just incredible as well. Brayton Bowman and Parson James, just artists I really respect, and I love their vibe, and I love their writing, and I love their creativity. So I would love that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what about producers? Have you got any particular producers in mind?
I love Cashmere Cat.
Okay.
He's tight, and I would love to just sit in a room with him and Max Martin, and just see what we come up with. I think it'd be like the most amazing pop and just great music, like memorable stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You did a beautiful, beautiful video in Marrow. I mean, that was sensational.
Thank you.
That's obviously a creative process unto itself. Like as an artist and collaborating with different creatives in industry for photography, videography, and all that kind of stuff, how deep do you go with direction and involvement and input in the way you're showing up in that capacity?
So the treatment for Meryl came when Jake Bull hit me up. He lived in New York at the time, and I was in a coffee shop in LA, and we just were going over FaceTime, and I really wanted to get the idea across that everyone is included and united in the church, that it doesn't just belong to a certain group of people.
Wouldn't he be involved?
I wanted to put out the message that no matter what your gender, no matter what your sexual orientation, your religious beliefs, that you're welcome somewhere where the person who started the church said you're all welcome, and then people got ahead of it and were like, maybe some of you are welcome and maybe some of you aren't, and that's trash. That's not true. That's not how it works. Religion is open to everyone. Excuse me. Faith is open to everyone. Religion is open to some, and it's just growing up in a Catholic society. They taught me that way, and I wanted to put in that message because it is a song about being in love and loving someone so deep that you can feel them in your bones. But it's also, I wanted the visual to represent everyone and have them all be there. And that's what the visual in the church is, just having everyone dancing in the aisles and in the pews and being accepted at the altar and having them understand that no matter your path in life, you're welcome here. And it's not up to the people to welcome you here. Like God says you're welcome here. That's it. That's the only person you need to talk to. Just God.
Just God. I had my dear friend Todd Savis on the show just last week, and he's a spiritual teacher and mystic, and he's here. He's Australian, but he's lived all over the world, and he's done a bunch of different things. And he came from a super hardcore Pentecostal church.
Wow.
But that he evolved through that to really come into his spirituality, and we had this conversation about religion versus spirituality. His trajectory is. And he has developed his own deck of cards, which is really, really cool and very special. Shout out Tide. His trajectory is like allowing and helping individuals find their own version of spirituality.
Yeah.
Is God for you universal intelligence? Do you see God as energy and love, or do you see him as a separate man? Like, how has your religious background met with your spiritual self today?
I don't believe God's like a man that's sitting in the
He's
clouds.
a man. But he sits on the clouds. He sits in a cloud chair. He eats fairy floss all fucking day.
Not fairy
Can
floss.
you believe it?
That's cotton candy for any of you who don't speak Australian.
How did you
My
know?
spirituality, how did I...
did you know
I
about
lived
that?
in Adelaide for like 3 months. Isn't that random?
What?
Isn't that random? Yeah.
Are you being serious?
The more you know about me. Yeah, I am. Like 3 months, like in 2007. Isn't that
was
random?
there.
Isn't that random?
What
That's
were
so
you doing
random.
there?
I went on like this like blew your
No
mind.
one. I mean, no one's even heard of Adelaide.
It was
South
in the
Australia.
summertime. It was America's summertime, so it was your winter, and I was there for like a pilgrimage, and it was like great. I went to like this like homestead in the mountains and like just stayed there.
Oh my good God
random?
Almighty!
And that's like very strange, but like it was the best time ever.
That's wild.
Yeah, my parents let me go.
I relocated there that year to, actually it was at the end of 2007, it was 2008 that I did some film stuff, but that's wild.
Isn't that crazy? I had the best time of my life there. It was just me, quiet, mountains, beauty, and just peace.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
So, I mean, you took me off, okay, sorry.
Got
Fairy
her.
floss.
I got
Adelaide
her.
fairy floss. Yeah, he
Got
did.
her.
Got him. Okay, carry on.
You're welcome.
Carry on.
God for me is love. God for me is acceptance. God for me is everyone else. I see God in people, you know, and
Beautiful.
I was raised Christian and religion is tough for me because I have seen people tarnish God for other people. It happened to me and I've seen it happen for other people. So it's always been tough for me to go to an organized kind of place
Sure.
and be like, I don't know if what you're teaching is 100% all right, because there are some people here who are hurting with what you're saying, and you're not taking that into account. And so for me, I try to find God on my own. I have pastors that I listen to, and I go to church sometimes with my friend Keb, and it's just I try to listen to all of it and find my truth in it.
Sure.
And I think that's how faith works. It's you learning about it all and then understanding what really applies to your life and what you choose to take in. It's a complex thing because faith is different for everyone else. Like the level of faith that you have is different for everyone else.
Absolutely. I mean, it depends on the experiences you've gone through, what you choose to expose yourself.
Yeah.
We had the managing editor of Boss Up on the show just prior to yourself, and we were talking about that the same thing. She's come through Nichiren Buddhism and Christianity. But at the end of the day, it depends on the journey, what you resonate with. Like the chanting practice of Nichiren Buddhism, for example, is a fire practice. Meditation is a calming practice. So do you have too much fire in your personality versus do you need more energy in your life?
I definitely have too much fire in my personality. Wrap it
Who's
up.
going to meditate after tonight? In fact, we're going to make you meditate. You need to calm the fuck down.
Just
shut up, Vincent.
bring it in. Just bring it in. Everyone's calm.
So how do you help your friends? Like, do you have a lot of, since you've sort of kicked off this career and sort of like catapulting into the limelight, and I'm sure it's been a long time coming journey, right? People say overnight success, but you've been
Not been overnight.
in the game for
Trust
a minute.
me.
How do you bring light to your friends' lives now and those that are aspiring to careers similar to yourself?
By just giving them the hard cold truth. It's not easy. That sounds like tough,
Don't
but it's
do it.
like, no, do it, but it's a lot of work and it's a lot of sleepless nights and it's a lot of being disappointed. You will be disappointed probably 80% of the time, probably 90% of the time. You will be disappointed that you didn't get something or something didn't work out or bad shit happens. But that 10% makes all of it worth it because it's always greater than the 80%. None of it's easy. It's not like glitz and glam. Like it's all pretty, yeah, but like done up. But like it's fucking hard, and it's
really hard.
It took you a long time to get here. Like it's not. None of it's easy. None of it's given to you. You have to work for it because if you don't, then it won't sustain. You have to be like you have to want it. Like you have to want it more than anything else, and just enjoy it. And that's a lot to go into one thing, but like you get what I'm saying. It's life. Shit, I'm Jan the Van Zandt. If you need me, I will fix your life. That's what I'm saying.
I say that to my friends back home. If you want to move to America, honey, you're going to really want it so goddamn bad because the immigration thing and the cost of the visa and the visa goddamn fucking process. Dude, my paperwork was this high.
I have so many friends.
High.
Just literally, 3 of my friends had to go back home and they have to wait a year.
God, well, I'm not going to do that. Sorry, USCIS immigration office. I ain't doing that.
But it's just like, it's tough. Like it's tough to be here. It's tough to survive here, especially in Los Angeles.
Yeah, even for kids, people, humans in other states, I hear them complain, like coming from South Carolina or Kansas or wherever, somewhere in the Midwest or South, and they have their own challenges. It's hard being away from family for everybody.
It's not
so
easy.
in these darkest times and hours, when if there are times, have there ever been days where you just don't want to get out of bed?
Of course.
Okay.
This morning. It's me this morning. Sad.
We got him out of bed. Hey.
There are definitely times you get depressed, you get sad, you have to get yourself through it. Talk to someone. I have great friends in my life.
Yeah.
I have a great
Network.
community and network who build me up. And I think that's important. When you move anywhere, whether it be a Mecca like a Los Angeles, a New York, a Chicago, just big cities, find a group of people you can confide in.
With
With the same goals, I guess, but just who can be honest with you and you can be honest with them is the most important
obviously
thing.
you have to build trust, right?
Yeah.
Because I think it's hard. I mean, we all have different types of friends in our lives, and there are those that you can definitely confide in and feel safe and comfortable with versus others. It doesn't make them necessarily a better friend. But
be smart about who you put in your circle.
Yeah,
But have a circle.
That's very, very important. Has that taken you a minute and through trial and tribulation to form your circle in LA?
For sure. When I first got here, I had friends that I don't have now, and it's because we didn't have the same kind of goals and we didn't have the same kind of our morals didn't align, and that's okay. You will meet people and people will come into your life and people will leave your life. It's up to you to build a good circle around you, and if that person in particular doesn't fit, it's okay to let them go. They just need a little bit more work to be in your life, but don't surround yourself with people and try to build them up. That's not what that is. You're supposed to build yourself up.
So it's important to embrace the vulnerability within yourself, not
Yeah.
be afraid to share, right? And show up
Yeah.
and talk it out, move on through.
Always talk it
and
out.
accept that it's part of the journey of life
Yeah.
and being any human being and especially an artist. Okay, dating in LA. I gotta ask you, sorry. Gotta ask you.
What do you want to know?
Well, we're getting married.
Yes, we are currently engaged. Deal with that.
But I mean, have you done the whole? I mean, as I said, I've got friends in that out there dating, doing the thing. I refuse to go on an app. I may have been on an app once or twice for 5 minutes here and there, but I refuse to do it because I just prefer to organically meet people. Right?
Yeah.
What would have been any of your experiences through that? I've got to talk about it. It's LA.
No, it's fine. I always take the Beyonce route on this. The beginning where she's like, what do you mean? And she like dodges the question. But I will answer. I have gone on plenty of dates here, and there have been some good guys and there have been some bad guys. Right now, I have a good guy.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
where is he? I'm going to assassinate him.
He is not
Somewhere.
gonna find. You're not gonna get that location. Here it is. Yes.
Just messing with you. Am I? I saw you perform "Remember Me" at the Lululemon Love Loud.
Yes.
Tell us about the song.
I wrote that song inside of Mickey's, which is a club in West Hollywood, because the boy that I loved, or I thought I loved, was leaving with someone else.
Sorry.
Yeah,
He was he was living with someone else?
leaving with someone else. He left the club that night with someone else.
Oh, okay. Naughty.
Yeah, broke my heart, but it was one of those moments where divine intervention kind of kicks in and the song kind of poured into my head.
Yeah.
Just wrote it out.
And that's your God-given gift.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isn't that nuts? Never happened to me that way before, but it's been kind of a consistent thing now.
Well, I mean, as a channel, right,
Yeah.
of beautiful messages and experiences, how do you control your creative flow? Like, how do you
don't.
decipher?
You don't. You just go crazy and you just write it all down. There is no.
He actually lives in a mental asylum.
I'm out of my mind. There is no. I don't have like a cap on it. It's like it just pours out, and
Yeah.
I write it all down, and I go to therapy, and I go because I'm not saying that I have never experienced depression or things like that, but I think it's very important to talk to someone. Therapy has been one of the best things in my life. I just need to talk and get things out of my mind. You know what I mean? And that's a normal human thing.
I do. I don't have a therapist. I have a lot of incredible friends I had to get
Exactly.
to share
That's
stuff
therapy.
with. It
Yeah.
is. But it's been incredible. Like moving
Yes.
to LA and hearing how open people are and sharing their journeys and their relationships and experiences with therapists and I do believe every single one of us should be assigned a therapist in life.
It's so necessary just to
whether
talk
you-
to somebody.
Right. Whether you're going through things or not, it doesn't matter. It's just life
Yeah.
to share
Yeah.
and having that free flow of conversation and whatever. And you're going to take away something every
And
time.
it's a person who is legally bound not to tell your secrets.
Right. How good is that?
It's the most amazing
Therapy,
thing.
a therapist,
Yeah.
everybody. Awesome. Okay, so when is the exact date of the Remember Me?
Remember Me is out now. I am releasing an acoustic video, an acoustic version of the song, July the 17th.
Yeah, July 17.
Yes.
Amazing. And then those that are willing, like, wanting to have a career that are you, aspiring to be you, what last words of wisdom, education, inspiration that you want to share and impart today?
For the little boys and little girls and the non-gender conforming kids out there as well, don't let anyone stop you. If you think that you're good at something, keep working at it, even if someone tells you you're not. Because there are a lot of people who will try to crush your dreams because they never fulfill their own. There is always a purpose for what you're doing, and you are great. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't need to change anything about yourself. If you feel like something is wrong or someone telling you that something is wrong with you, don't listen. Listen to me. You are fine the way you are. You're perfect. You were made exactly how you're supposed to be made. You're great. Just keep pushing forward. Live your dream. Be happy. Don't take shit. Don't take anyone's shit at all.
Amen. Amen. You're going to start tear-jerking me again. Thank you. Where can people find you socially? Where can people stay in touch with you?
Yes. You can find me on Instagram at I am Vincint, Vincint. You can find me on Twitter at Vincint _Vincint. You can find it anywhere, just Vincent. I'm the only one that spells my name that way. So I will be the first one to pop up on every platform, which is very nice. But Vincint.
As you've gathered, everyone, he's a renegade. Will you marry me?
Yes, we have been over this. We're engaged. I wish you would stop leaving me. I don't know what's going on.
Thank you so much for coming tonight. I'm so grateful. Me. You've just absolutely made my year.
Ugh. And it's only June.
And again.
Thank you.
So we will see you again soon.
Yes.
This is Outlier TV. Thank you. You're either listening or watching, hopefully both.
Yes.
This is
Vincent.
I'm Georgie Speakman. Thank you again. We'll see you soon. Mwah!